Am I the asshole for telling my mom that I don't want her to see the apartment I will buy? I'm 30 years old. Currently I live with my mom and dad at our family house. My dad is a cool and easygoing guy, however my mom is something different. My mother is a person who is very imperious and usually demands the things to be done her way without asking for anyone's permission. She is an extremely pessimistic person who is looking for problems literally everywhere. While she is a caring and loving person, she's also toxic to the point where after years and years of fights over the smallest things in our house between her and my father/me, my father and I developed some sort of passive-aggressive stance towards her where we subconsciously began dismissing her various shenanigans which usually made her upset, with her claiming that we're trying to sideline her and make her look like an idiot. It came to the point where on Christmas Eve, after another argument, my father threatened her with divorce if she doesn't stop with her toxic behavior. Now, after years of hard work, I finally managed to gather enough funds to buy myself an apartment. I talked with the owner, and he said that we can visit the apartment in a couple of days in order to see how it looks, and so that the housing expert can see it and tell the price. After I announced that, my dad and mom were happy about the fact, however my mom said she doesn't want me to leave the house, and instead the apartment should be rented out, so it could pay the mortgage that comes with it. Tomorrow is the day on which we go to see the apartment, and my mom said that we will go to see the apartment, and she was very excited about it. This is where my passive-aggressive stance kicked in again. Knowing that my mom would try to find problems and discourage me from buying the apartment, I instinctively said, "You're not coming." My mom began yelling at me that I see her as nothing and that she's worth less than zero to me. She began crying and saying that she would give her heart away for me, my safety and comfort, and that I broke her heart and treat her like crap instead. I told her that knowing her previous shenanigans, she would discourage me and my dad from buying the apartment, hoping to keep me inside the house and preventing me from making my own choices. I told her that it is entirely my decision this time whether I will buy the apartment or not, since I am sick of her making decisions for me or my dad without ever asking us for our opinion. She continued to cry afterwards, saying that I don't care about what she has to say and I'm a horrible person. I still told her that she's not coming to see the apartment, and I left for my room. And so here we are. I genuinely love my mom, but given the circumstances and history of her actions, I took a cold decision of leaving her out of my apartment visit, so I could make the decision on my own for once in my life. Now I feel horrible about how I treated today Kaus. I knew her intentions were pure, but her character is just not. So tell me, AITA, not the asshole. Maybe I spend too much time on Reddit, but something tells me you should tell your realtor if anyone calls pretending to be you and tries to cancel the sale, don't listen to it. "You're not coming" is not passive-aggressive. In fact, it is neither passive nor aggressive. It is assertive, and it is your right not to have her there. She is into histrionics and control. Not the asshole. No assholes here. I have one of those moms. Something to consider. You're purchasing a house. So long as you love your house, what she says doesn't matter about how you adore your new home. Her perfectionism can be useful, though. Limit her to comments about the house only. Redirect her. And then take those comments to your real estate agent and see what can be used for bargaining. My mom saved me about $30,000 in things I missed. Winky face. If the stress is too much, then you go and get your own home your own way. Congratulations. Good luck. Respectfully, your mom is nuts. You gotta get out ASAP. Info. Is your dad putting money into the apartment? I ask because of the statement that she would discourage me and my dad from buying. It's absolutely absurd that she should expect to be part of that decision for her 30-year-old child. Had she treated you better in the past and fostered a better relationship with you, you may have wanted her to come and appreciated her opinion and assistance. But she made her bed, and now she's lying in it. Woman shrugging. Am I the asshole for saying I was blindsided by what my dad and stepmom did? I wanted to start this off by saying I have never used Reddit before, but I'm genuinely unsure what to do in this situation anymore. I'm a 22-year-old, and my dad is 50 while my stepmom is 47. I have really struggled with mental health problems my whole life, and last year it got bad, and I was in treatment for months. I was in family therapy with my dad at some point. We have had a lot of differences for many, many years. Since I got back from treatment, my dad and SM have been very adamant that they want me to get a job, which I have now and have had for months, which I'm proud of myself for, and move out. which I don't have a problem with, as it would be cool for me to work towards finally be able to be okay enough to be on my own. However, a couple months ago my dad and SM sat me down with them in the living and gave me a contract. There was a lot of things on the contract that honestly I don't really mind, like getting a job, doing chores, etc. But then they wrote that I needed to be out of the house by January 1st. This threw me off because I have talked to my dad multiple times that having time crunches, especially with huge changes, can really trigger me and make me spiral. Now, of course, that is a me problem, and I know I have to deal with that, and I am working on getting better with my emotions. It's been a struggle for years. I was honestly completely blindsided. I wasn't really sure what to do, and my brain immediately just turned off. This happens very often when me and my dad have any sort of conversation. My brain just immediately goes to dissociation, which annoys me to no end as I become unable to really talk or think, if I'm being honest. After they gave me the contract, they made me sign it. My therapist and case manager both agree this is kinda insane, but I'm not really sure. Anyway, flash forward to about 2 weeks ago, and my dad calls me as I'm heading to work, and he just kinda says a bunch of hurtful things. During the call, which if I'm being honest was him just talking at me about the things I do that upset him, a very normal phone call. But then he said that if I moved in with my mom he would consider that a failure, which made me snap slightly. This is where I said somethings along the side of, well, you don't get to have an option like that when you blindsided me with your contract. And then I know I said that what he said was mean. I know that I shouldn't have snapped at him. I can totally see how I am an asshole for that. But when I got home from work, him and my SM both said that it was a very hurtful thing to say, and that I shouldn't have been blindsided, and I should have seen this coming. The three of us have talked about me moving out before, as my dad always says he doesn't want me living with him till I'm 30, which makes no sense to me, but okay, sure. I would also not like to live with you till I'm 30. If I'm being honest, I don't even want to live with him now. I'm unsure what to do. They both have been mad. So am I the asshole? Not the asshole. People in the comments here seem to not have a minimum of reading comprehension. Opie felt blindsided because they literally talked about Opie leaving, but all the other times they were open with the date. And in therapy they recommended such because the kind of stress of you have until X and then big change on your life, whether you are ready or not, can be horrible to their already damaged mental health. And yet, even when they already talked and supposedly they were giving Opie time, they pulled this crap that is at best malicious. And the cherry on the top, when Opie managed to make arrangements, that is living with their mom because housing is shit now and can't afford it, their father calls them a fucking loser? How is Op the asshole here? Just move in with your mom. When your dad calls you to complain, stop taking his calls. There's no value in the negativity. Not the asshole based on your dad saying he'd consider it a failure if you went to live with your mom. Him and the stepmom are getting rid of you. What more do they want? From a 22-year-old in 2025, mind you. It's easy to move out and get your own place. Actually sustaining it is the hard part. Not even factoring mental health. You have both a therapist and a case manager. I regret renewing my lease. I should have just moved back home. Don't let that man guilt trip you like you're a failure. Some people take longer to launch. That's not a bad thing. You're only 22. Hell, I still consider that a baby. I think they want you gone, and it seems you accept that. So, not the asshole, and I think you should move in with your mom. You have a job, and are working toward independence. Your dad sounds like not only an asshole, but also a major cause of your mental health problems. Not the asshole. What a horrible man. Am I the asshole for discouraging my niece's wanted career path? My 39 male sister, 43 female, has a 16-year-old. Since she was like 10 or 11, she's been sure that she wants to be a pediatrician when she grows up. She's a junior in high school, and she's been taking classes related to health stuff in school. Last time she came over, we were talking about it, and out of the blue she asked me if I would do the whole doctor thing again if I could. And me, being completely honest, told her no way. I said I'd be a dentist or something. My wife's a dentist, and would probably make more than me if I still worked as an employee. And she charges cash only, lol. I also told her that pediatricians don't really make that much money, at least compared to the debt she'd be looking at. I didn't mean to discourage her though, just telling the truth. When she left, my sister called asking why I'd say that to her, and I told her that she asked, so I answered. And I was just being real. She seemed pretty mad though that I put her off to a good career. Sister didn't even say niece felt put off. She's just talking for her. Am I the asshole? By the way, I'm not a pediatrician. Did a different specialty. Edit. What are you guys talking about in the comments? Yes, the money was part of becoming a doctor. If only someone had given me useful career advice, rather than let me start school at a private university. That ate up all of my scholarship money in 1 year, by the way. For a career, in Chex Notes athletic training, I'd probably be retiring from the military in 2 years. You did your niece right. If she's meant to be a pediatrician, she'll find that career. But letting your children walk into college with stars in their eyes is cruel. Signed, a higher ed professional of almost 15 years. Not the asshole. Giving an honest opinion based on your knowledge and experience is helpful. If it's an inconvenient truth, and people are upset with the information you've given them, that's on them. There's too much sugar coating in the world today. Too much misinformation. Being real is far more helpful than pushing people towards something that sounds good. Like telling people going to college means a lot, or means you'll make more money, etc. Only because I work for a lot of doctors, and they have all said they wouldn't be pediatricians because they are the lowest paid doctors out of them all, and work is hard with long hours and low pay. Not the asshole. Speaking as non-European, higher education is free here. At least I do not know any country that you have to pay to attend to public universities. Therefore, it's normal for people to change fields of study. Actually, a friend of mine dropped out of medical school in her 4th year to pursue dentistry. However, if I had to pay such a great sum you pay in USA, I'd want to be 100% certain of my decision and hear as many opinions from people in the profession as possible, so I don't end up with a huge debt and an unfulfilling job. Not the asshole. She asked a very logical question to someone close to her who she counted on to give her an honest opinion. You gave it.